Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the Ojai Planning Commission, Wednesday, September 18th, 2013, in the council chambers of the Ojai City Hall. Members of the public wishing to address the Planning Commission on items appearing in the agenda are requested to complete a speaker card and file it with the Secretary prior to the start of the meeting. Cards are available in the lobby. Speakers should state their name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Comments must be directed to the Commission and not to the audience. While the Planning Commission is in session, all in attendance are expected to maintain order and decorum and obey orders of the Chair. Roll call, please.
Foster, Osborne, Nolan, Crabtree.
Here.
Becker.
Here.
Merck.
Here.
Nicklin.
Here. Commissioner Crabtree, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public communications. The public communications item is for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of city business other than the scheduled agenda items. Matters raised at this time may be briefly discussed by the Commission and will generally be referred to staff and or placed on a subsequent agenda. Under state law, other than for emergency items, no action or non-agendized items can be taken at this meeting. There's nobody here so we'll carry on straight through. Consent item. The consent calendar is approved by roll call vote on one motion. Should any member of the Commission wish to discuss or disapprove an item, it must be removed from the consent calendar and considered a separate item. Minutes of the September 4th meeting, recommendation to approve them, please.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
That's a roll call.
Crabtree.
Abstain.
Becker.
I have to abstain as well.
Merck.
Yes.
Nicklin.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Municipal Advisory Council Planning Commission Liaison Report. The representative, Catherine Lee, she's not here this evening. The September 16th MAC meeting was cancelled. The next one is on October 21st, and Commissioner Osborne is going to be in attendance. Disclosure of site visits and ex parte contacts.
None.
I visited the site on item number 2.
I have not visited the site.
I visited the site. Right, we'll move on to public hearing item number 2. This is the design review permit DRP 13-12 for a 34 square foot addition to an existing 2-story single family residence located at 305 Mallory Way, Ojai, California. Assessors parcel number 020-0-192070. The general plan designation for the property is low density residential. The zoning classification of the property is a single family residential. Medium low density. A categorical exemption has been prepared pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act. Property owners and applicants Robert and Diana Hall. The recommendations is to conduct a public hearing and determine the project to be categorically exempt to CEQA, and adopt PC resolution number 13-12, approving design review permit DRP 13-12, subject to the findings and conditions of approval. Turn it over to staff, please.
Thank you very much. This is a relatively small project, but I will give you a quick overview and let you follow up if you have any questions on it. As you indicated, the property is on Mallory Way at 305 Mallory Way. It is an existing two-story residence, and as the Commission is aware, anytime a single-story chooses to construct a second story, you're required to go through the design review process with the Planning Commission. That also pertains when you're adding on to a two-story home. In this case, they're adding 34 square feet of second story level addition at the front of the residence. It is facing Mallory Way. They are removing and replacing various windows on a number of elevations. You will see those. They are also extending on the first floor. They're extending a roof line to create a entry porch area. Those are the primary things that they are doing for this project. The staff report has outlined the general plan consistency and compatibility along with the zoning components. The addition and the remodel do meet the development standards, including the setbacks, height, and lot coverage. Regarding the design review consideration, the Planning Commission must find that the proposal is in keeping with the scale of the adjoining uses, that it blends in with the existing setting through the use of building form, height, materials, and colors, and staff believes that the proposal can meet those findings. As noted in the agenda, you are required to make a determination with regard to the CEQA, and we are proposing a categorical exemption, and that is outlined in the staff report also. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. In your packet, you'll find photos also that were submitted along with the plans.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Yeah. So I'd like to open public hearing.
I'll move we close the public hearing.
Aye.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
Looks pretty good to me. All right, I'll move to that the project be categorically exempt pursuant to the CEQA, and that we adopt PC resolution number 13-17 approving design review permit DRP 13-12, subject to the findings and conditions of approval.
I will
Second.
that. Okay.
You good, Merck? Okay. Any more discussion, or are you ready for a roll call?
Any more discussion?
Okay. Crabtree,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Merck,
Yes.
Nicklin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Project approved.
Thank you. We'll move on to the informational items. Number 3, director report and director actions.
We've included a number of items that have come through and have a list in your packet. I think the one item that you'll want to just take note of is the last item, which is something that we have determined that there's some new state laws with regard to wireless panels when they're placing them on co-located situations, and we're required to do certain timing, and we only have certain rights of review. In this case, we've reviewed it against our ordinance. They're going to be able to comply with it, and so it proceeds through as an as a ministerial project. And so there's some outline we've given you in your packet that talks about that.
So, Ann, would that apply in a new I know they're adding things to an existing one.
We
but-
do have an application currently in on Grand at the Lutheran Church, and that is one that there is an aspect of this that will apply as far as the timing. It's longer when it's not a co-situation. We have 120 days, I believe, per what they have indicated in the memo or in one of the things that I have received, and we will have to see how it reviews as far as, I believe that one will still be coming to the Planning Commission. We may be regulated as to what we can look at. We'll have more information as that comes forward.
Thank you. And then item number 4, report on current code enforcement activity.
I am still trying to get up to speed on all the code enforcement that's going on, and so I have reviewed these, and if you would like to discuss anything in particular, we can, but we've tried to indicate where we stand. Sherry's been keeping the records up, and we do have follow-up that we're working on currently on a number of items. That was some of the things I've spent a lot of time on in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to proceed ahead. We have, just for your information, we are going to have a meeting with our city attorney. The council, it's my understanding, on the 27th of August, the council amended some ordinances so that we are sure that we have got everything in order for our compliance as far as if we do citations and different things with regard to code enforcement. So I set up a meeting for early October because of timing. That's as soon as we can get everybody in the same place with building department representatives, the city attorney, and want to go through where we stand on these, what the procedure is going to be, and making sure that we can get compliance and how we're going to do that.
There was one, I've had a couple of people, they're a little concerned about it. It was 13-97. It's the dead pine tree on Bristol.
Yes.
Some people are worried because it's on the street there that it's going to fall into the road and hit a car. It just had some people.
Sherry may have some
Public
additional.
Works is also working with us on that one, and we've informed the owners that if they get an arborist report, and the arborist report says it's hazardous, then, we'll just document it, but we've informed them they need to get the arborist report, because if everybody starts coming forward wanting us to check all our trees and our public right-of-ways, it's setting a precedent, and then this is the Public Works Director's determination.
Right.
So, because it's in the public right-of-way.
Thank you. Anything else? Any questions on the commissioners? Item number 5, future agenda items.
We have the height ordinance coming back to you. Rob Clark, our city manager, will be bringing that to you on October 2nd. We have the Founders Workshop renovation at Ojai Valley School that we've scheduled for the 16th. And then currently, and then in November, the first meeting right now, we do not have an item set for that. There may be a couple that we're looking at. And then we, for sure, are looking at the housing element coming back hopefully on the 20th of November. We do have an application that's come in that we are going to be pursuing and trying to fast track it. It's related to the recycling facility that was taken out of Miners Oaks, and it's my understanding from what I've heard that the stores are very interested in us trying to pursue something quickly. Somebody is looking at the site on Bryant and the portion of Adamson's property on the east side of Bryant. And it's my understanding that the recycling from a state level, they are pressuring the stores with potential fines, and they may already be fining, I'm not sure. So we are going to try, we got the application yesterday, and our assistant planner and I and Sherry will be looking at that this week and trying to get them ready to go and try to get it on one of your upcoming agendas so it can at least be evaluated.
Will they be notifying the neighbors behind there?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because that could be an issue.
300-foot radius labels, but they're
As
actually
property owners.
towards the front, towards Bryant Street, not behind
Okay,
Adamson's.
that's good.
And we will notify all the merchants, meaning not just grocery stores, but mini marts, gas stations, all of them are being fined by the state. And so we'll notify all of them to come and
Wow.
support the project.
Well, gee.
Not just a good idea.
That's why we're trying to fast track this. One of the areas that we still have to look at is whether we can exempt it under California Environmental Quality Act and things like that. We've got to determine, but that's, our goal is to try to figure out a way to get this as soon as possible. So, we just got it in yesterday, so we need a little bit of time to look through it, but we will be trying to fast track it, just so that you're aware.
Thank you. Item number 6, Planning Commission Subcommittee Reports. I don't think there's anything. No. And last but not least, our City Council Liaison. Thank you.
Good evening. Mayor Blatz is in Sacramento at the League of California Cities meeting, and so I'm here on his behalf. You probably already know the City Council approved the draft housing element and directed that it be forwarded to the state. It'll be coming back to you, but it's scheduled to come back to us December the 10th. In the housing element, there's been quite a bit of discussion on 2-story, 25-foot, 35-foot. In the housing element, everything should be noted as 2-story, not a height limit. So that, I think we got that across. At the last joint meeting, was the last joint meeting that Tom Bostrom and Kathy Nolan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not here, and I thanked them before, but I really appreciated Kathy and Tom's memo. I read it before I read the rest of the work, so it made it make sense to where there was some questions, but if you read their memo first, it really makes it make more sense. And they did a lot of work on that, so I'm really grateful. What else? I don't know. The Ombudsman program, we're accepting applications. And we've changed the subcommittee. The council changed the subcommittee on the 3 members that would be approving. It'll now be Mayor Blatz or his designee, I understand. The real estate, the president of the board, real estate board, Steve, and I don't recall his last name. And I don't recall a third part, but
It's a general contractor.
general contract.
Right. We'll be on the interview panel.
And it was pretty much the desire of the council that it be more objective, more slanted toward the residents, how the residents would react, as opposed to having staff create the list of ombudsmen. And that's about all that comes to mind. Is there any questions
The
you have?
Building Appeals Board meets Wednesday, so that's kind of a good
right.
thing.
Right. So we'll see. I plan on attending the board meeting on Wednesday because I'm still not clear on, I had a concept of where we were going, and now that we're there, it's not exactly my concept. So I'm going to have to, I'm resisting it for some reason. So I'll be at the meeting on the 25th just so that I'm clear what we're directing the appeals board to do. It's an open meeting, so if any of you want to be there too, that would be good. Then we can all learn together. Any questions? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Good meeting, very short.
Thank you. With that, I think there's nothing else, and I'll adjourn the meeting.